Right, so let's move right along. From Hollywood storytelling to brand storytelling. And we had some really interesting insights from John about surrounding yourself with people better than you are, aspirational characters, getting the script right, and also possibly outsourcing it to young talent to get your brand story correct. Our next three speakers are Fiat, Coca-Cola, and Itaú. And they're really getting their brand story right. Their campaigns throughout South America are working. So we're going to explore with them, what are they doing to drive the brand story? What is different about it, and what is next? And we'll begin with Coca-Cola. And Selman Careaga is the Vice President of Marketing for Coca-Cola Mexico. Bienvenido.
Good morning, guys. I don't have an Oscar. I hope that someday you get to present after the producer of Avatar to know how I feel. You feel humble and small, but it's Friday, so it should all be okay. Let me get this first. Thank you for inviting me. A few weeks ago, I was invited by our friends of IMS. We were at the Bay Area, and we were told that you should be able to say whatever you want to say in 6 words. Not 140 characters, but 6 words. So my 6 words for the few minutes I'll be here with you would be social at heart, immediacy, and think publisher. These 6 words is what I believe represent what we're trying to do in Coca-Cola, at least in Mexico, with our portfolio of brands. By social at heart, what would we mean? We mean that we want to create content, that every piece of content has to be developed with a mindset of creating a conversation, of creating engagement, of making people create an expression out of that. And if it doesn't, it's a failure. The second one is immediacy. And immediacy, I think you've heard the word probably 1,000 times, real time in these couple of days. But for us, immediacy is not only doing real-time marketing, but do you have the right processes, the right metrics to measure what you're doing on real time. That's what I think is the key today. It's not about doing real time. You're doing real-time marketing now once you're tweeting or putting some content on social media. It's about, do you have the right teams, the processes, and the metrics to do real-time marketing. And the last one is think publisher. And we believe, and I wouldn't say we believe, we know that we have the capacity to do content that you might want to buy from us. We don't see ourselves as only a media buyers, but also media sellers. So today, and I'll show you an example of how we think content today and moving forward, of creating content that you might want to put in a piece of a media network that should be bought as well. So we don't see as sellers, buyers anymore, but also sellers of content too. So those are the 6 words. I'll use a couple of examples to take you through these 3 things. The first one is the World Cup. And for the, maybe for the 1% of you who did not follow the World Cup, 11 months ago, Mexico was seconds away of not going to the World Cup, to Brazil. That would have been a national disaster for us, for Mexican population, but also for sponsors as well. So I'll show you a clip that I think represents the mood that the country was in. This is a clip from TV Azteca, from our guy Martinoli, that I think represents how we all felt at that time.
We love you forever and ever. Ah, God bless America, doctor. Estados Unidos nos mete a la reclasificación. Estados Unidos. Ustedes no. Ustedes los que están de verde no. Ellos sí, ustedes no, que les quede claro toda su vida. Ustedes no hacen nada por la camiseta. Ustedes no impulsan al equipo. Ustedes no nos meten a la copa. Ustedes no nos dejan vivos. Es Estados Unidos, no ustedes. No ustedes y su soberbia. No ustedes y su infamia. No ustedes y sus petardos.
Ese es un... So, that's how we all felt last November with the national team. And imagine not only that, but imagine being a sponsor with all the programs laid out, with everything ready. I was for sure that Mexico was going to go, and thanks to a late goal by the U.S., we were able to make it. So at that point, we met as a team and say, so what do we do now? And a lot of you, if you work in media in Mexico, you know that a lot of the sponsors were dropping out. A lot of the people I was talking about the national team just stepped out and stepped away and said, we don't want to talk about this because everybody hates them now. At that time, we said, not only we're going to talk about the national team, but we're going to invest a lot more, and we're going to try to change the conversation in Mexico with a little bit of humor and try to change the mood of Mexican population, which at that time, research said that some of the Mexicans were saying, well, you know, my last name is a little bit Italian, so I follow Italy. I have a German Shepherd dog, so I follow German. So we came out with a campaign called Give Him a Few Days, which came out of this.
Let's see, you're not Italian, and neither your last name is Angiolini. And you, the only German thing you have is that beautiful dog that you named Hans. And you as well. You were born in Cholula but feel Spanish because you studied a semester at Salamanca. Yes, to all of you flirting with another country to support it, Mexico needs you back. Give the national team a few days. Coca-Cola, proud to be with Mexico.
So very important for us to say, highlighted, very proud of being in Mexico. And we wanted to say we're in the good ones and in the bad ones. And that created very positive conversation with people. Then, gladfully, we made it to the World Cup. And so the next step was, we want to win in social media content during the World Cup. And we won. We were the brand with the most social conversation during the World Cup, especially during the Mexico games, which was a key for us. How do we win not only against the beverage competitors, but against all the brands in Mexico? And we set up a team of 50 young people that would listen, that would publish content, that would buy as well. So let me show you a clip of what was happening when Mexico was playing against Brazil, 0-0 the game. All of a sudden, the Mexico goalkeeper, for those of you who saw the game, was playing very, very well. Everybody started talking about him, and started talking about his curly hair during the game. So a young guy on the team came up with a piece of content that looked like that. Tomorrow, everybody has curly hair. That piece of content, we published it right after the game, and it's been the most successful piece of social media content that we've ever put in Mexico. And it was just a young kid in the office taking a picture of a cock with a wig, and that's been the most successful content we made. So the key is, how do we work around this? Do we have the processes and the tools to do this, and the metrics as well? So a lot of views, very good numbers. So we've got the metrics. This probably would, and I would love to spend more time with any of you to talk about how do we measure this, because everybody's coming up with new formulas. We have our internal ones. So it's about measuring, having the processes to getting maybe a picture in your cell phone and authorizing. So you're talking to legal to make that work. That takes a long, that took a lot of time. And I think everybody talks about real time, but not everybody likes to talk about setting up the right processes and metrics, which are key. So the last example would be of our world in the publishing world. This is an example that won an Effie last week in Mexico with our brand Fuse, which is about when you fuse good stuff, better stuff comes out. So I'll show you a bit of a clip. I don't know if it's Friday, but you're not all Mexicans, but most of the time I see people move a little bit. I don't even see a lot of movement right now. But this is about us creating content. It's a national orchestra, the Mexico City Orchestra, with a very popular group, with a very young artist. We fused that, and MTV picked it up. Millions of views on YouTube. Televisa picked it up as well. So we see ourselves today as a company that can create content that people want to buy as well. But that would buy to other networks. So, as a summary, and time running out, social at heart, immediacy, and as publishers. And as publishers, we will be partners of you. We can be competitors of you as well. But we want to learn and collaborate, but also compete. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Time's up.
Thank you, Selman. If you take a seat here. Thank you.